But we're going to talk Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, starring Robert Downey Jr., Val Kilmer, and Michelle Monaghan, and directed by Shane Black. I've wanted to watch this movie for a while, but it's always one of those things where, you know, like, oh, I'm interested, but there's other things that I kind of want to check out, so I'll get to that when I get to it, and then, 15, 16 years later, here I am. Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, when it came out, got pretty good critical reception, but didn't do well in the box office. And this is what kind of led people to think at the time that maybe Robert Downey Jr. is kind of done as a lead actor. I mean, to be fair, also, Robert Downey Jr. had his issues. He had his drug issues. He had a lot of legal problems, so that definitely hurt him. But he was trying to get back into Hollywood movies, and this didn't do so hot sales-wise. So people started thinking, maybe his time's done. And then, of course, he did Iron Man and jump-started the whole MCU, so they were wrong. Anyway. So Robert Downey Jr. plays a thief who, while trying to basically run from the cops after a score has gone wrong, he finds himself accidentally being casted to be in for a potential movie role, and he is sent to Hollywood after to train under a private eye named Gay Perry, played by Val Kilmer. And the basics of the story, it's set on Robert Downey Jr.'s Harry character, who's the thief in this movie. And him going through a pretty darkly comic crime drama, like a crime scenario in this, with Gay Perry, who is the guy who is training him for the role. And the strength of the movie lies solely on these two and how they coexist. By far, the best written character in this movie is Gay Perry. He has some of the funniest lines, and Kilmer plays that character incredibly well. He fits that character to a T, like, constantly. The lines are funny. The way he says the lines are spot on. And Robert Downey Jr. with his comedic chops really falls into it very well when it comes to going through the comedic bits that these two get into. It's funny. Robert Downey Jr. usually isn't what you would call the straight man in most movies, which is the guy who the craziness bounces off of and he just reacts. But he kind of is in this movie. And it's because of the two characters that surrounds him, which is Val Kilmer's Gay Perry and Michelle Monaghan's character, Harmony. And Michelle Monaghan's actually very good in this, too. She plays the... I don't think femme fatale is a right terminology, but she's definitely more interesting than that. But she is a... she's actually pretty good in this performance, too. And another very well-written, quick-witted, funny character that's in the movie. It's surprising. Watching this movie and Robert Downey Jr.'s character is really not the most quick-witted person in this movie. He's just generally reacting to everything that's going on, which I think is a different way of... it's pretty different than what I'm used to seeing Robert Downey Jr. in. And he does a very good job playing the straight man in this. Like, usually when somebody who is usually the one that has all the quick lines, the snarkiness and everything, when they go straight man, it usually is pretty bad. But again, Downey Jr. is a very talented actor, so I guess it shouldn't be too much of a surprise, but it's definitely a very good performance on his part when it comes to playing this character. Delving a little into the writing, but the highlight of the movie isn't the crime caper, which usually is in these types of movies. This is a dark noir / black comedy, and The black comedy comes with the funny situations that happens revolving around all these dark and macabre things happening. The crime caper is interesting, but it's really a backseat to the comedy and to the relationships between the three characters. And I think it's to its strength. They definitely are interesting characters to sit through when you're watching the movie. I mean, these are, again, they're written very well. They're also very funny in a lot of the movie. So I definitely really enjoyed sitting through the movie. There's really not a boring part to this movie either. The way the movie's paced and how everything goes through the movie is very well done. Yeah, I sat watching the movie, and there really isn't a dull part in the movie or a slow part. It is constantly feeding you really good lines, some good comedy, some interesting tidbits throughout. So it keeps up its pace very well. It's about 100 minutes, and it's really not interesting, but it's a very entertaining movie for what it is. A very entertaining movie. Shane Black's direction is good, not great though. I mean, but to be fair, Shane Black as a director is fairly rudimentary. He doesn't do anything flashy. He sets the scene very well. He has a very standard way of shooting. Nothing too extravagant. Like, just do the lines, shoot it the way it is, and just make the stars and the writing the star of the movie and what to pay attention to. And it works. There really is no need for any extravagant trickery or anything in this movie. So, direction's good. It's not great, but it's serviceable. It's serviceable to the story, which is to just make the writing and the characters the central thing to pay attention to in the movie. It's very good. Okay, so my final thoughts for Kiss Kiss Bang Bang is that basically, if you are into buddy movies and crime capers and dark comedies and you haven't watched Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, I think you owe it to yourself to do that. You probably have, if we're being fair. But Kiss Kiss Bang Bang, I think, is a very good comedy and a very entertaining movie. The performances are great. I think Val Kilmer is the best part of this movie, and his character, and he plays that really well. Robert Downey Jr. is pretty good in it. Michelle Monaghan is very good. The supporting characters are great, but the writing is the real star in this movie, and the dialogue that keeps the movie funny and engaging with its quips and its really good dialogue. I really enjoyed the writing in this movie. Directing is fine. It's fairly serviceable. But that's not the point. The point is the great dialogue and the characters. So yeah, I will give this movie 3.5 stars. You know what? No, I'll give it 4 stars. It's a very good 4-star movie. It is very entertaining. And I think I would prefer this over any of the Lethal Weapons or even The Nice Guys. And I really like The Nice Guys. So if you haven't seen it and you like those movies, I think you owe it to yourself to watch Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. So definitely give this movie a shot. It's a 4-star movie. I really enjoyed Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. And if you haven't watched it, I'd say give it a shot. I think you owe it to yourself to do that if you're into these movies.